And there was a fascinating piece of research conducted by a woman who's now a professor at London Business School. She did her PhD study at Columbia in New York, and she looked at the TechCrunch New York City Startup Battle pitching contests over a 7-year period, downloaded all of the pitching events into some software that's way beyond my technical capabilities, analyzed all of the pitches and all of the Q&A sessions. And she found there was no material difference between the way men and women pitched, but there was a huge difference in the type of questions that were asked by the investors of male or female founders. 67% of questions asked of male founders were what's called promotion questions. How are you going to double your market share? Where are you going to hire your next 100 employees? And 66% of questions asked of female founders were what's called prevention questions. How are you going to stop the competition from stealing market share? What if 10 of your employees leave? And what was really interesting was that both male and female investors showed the same bias. So I think because, and of course that it was 10 years ago now, but because of the relatively low number of women in the industry, those who were in the industry had to adapt their behavior um, to be more like men, because that was how they succeeded. And
Yeah.
I mean, one of my mentors, one of my mentors was a very, very early trader in the London Stock Exchange in the 70s. And the stories she tells about the rampant gender bias that was going on at the time is just unbelievable. Yeah, so that's kind of number two, is the lack of women in the investment management industry. And number three is that women tend to be much more conservative than men in their financial projections. And if you look at the venture capital industry, their entire model is based around where's the next unicorn company? And a unicorn company is one that's going to have $1 billion valuation. And their whole model is we will invest in companies that show the potential of becoming $1 billion company. And a lot of women aren't necessarily interested in finding $1 billion company. But what's really interesting, Maxine, is women who have received funding run better companies. There's a number of pieces of research. My favorite one was produced by Boston Consulting Group, and they looked at funded companies over a 10-year period. And they determined that companies that had at least one woman in the founding team generated 2.5 times as much revenue per dollar invested as all male businesses. It's a
That's incredible.
staggering difference.